Welcome back to VBuzz. You're still here with me, Shareeta and Roshan. Now, they say a picture is worth 1,000 words, but just what goes into capturing a moment? How does a photographer speak through his art? Today, we are delighted to welcome Patrick Loh, an award-winning Malaysian wedding photographer known for his skill in creating works of art through photography. He was named one of the top 100 photographers of 2007 and 2009, and we are delighted that he could take the time to join us in the studio today. Welcome to VBuzz, Patrick.
It's an absolute honor having you here in the studio, Patrick, but most importantly, we've got to start from the very beginning. How did this love affair with you and photography start off with?
Well, I started study as a graphic designer.
Yeah.
So in our course, we have photography as well.
Yeah.
So, but during that time, I don't really like photography.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I remember when I need a job because my parents is illness. My mom is in kidney problem and my dad is actually cancer patient. I need a job. So I go to the classified ad and say, oh, photographer assistant, what's in your mind? So in our mind is like, wow, we can meet beautiful models every day. We can have a beautiful sunrise, sunset every day, you know.
Yeah.
But in actual fact, our job is like to paint the studio, to clean the lens, and it's not that. So, but slowly, the more you understand photography, the more I love the job.
And which was the real moment where you realized that this is what you want to do, when you fell in love with photography?
Yes.
What happened? What was the catalyst that took it all off?
I'm not a person who loves to read books, but when I notice I can read a book every evening until I have problem with my spine, then I know I love the job.
Oh, wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're willing to put your physical health when it comes to just something you love, because you go so dwell into it so deep. I mean, but what's like Shareeta mentioned, there was a moment in there when you were like, you picked up your first camera and you took a snap. Was there a particular time, or do you remember what shot just told yourself, you know what, I can do this? Do you remember that moment?
Yes, I remember that moment. It's I need to shoot a packaging shot, and my boss is not in, and the salesperson comes and say, hey, we need this urgent. Why not let me try it?
Wow.
Okay, I just took about 1-2 hours, done, deliver, and no reject by the client. Phew, done.
Oh, wow. So you kind of realized I can
job
actually do this.
satisfaction, you know, basically. Yeah.
Wow. So did you, after that, really immediately go into wedding photography straight away? No? Can you tell us how you maybe found your way to wedding photography?
I started as a commercial photographer, and we shot a lot of product shots, board of directors, aerial view, interior or interior designer, and it's very funny. And I don't really like to shoot people most of the time.
Why is that so?
Yeah, so happened that I bought a digital camera, and my friend said, hey, why not you shoot my wedding? Okay, I said, okay, let's give it a try, you know. Then I use whatever I learned here, apply to here, and they love the style, that shot. So, and then I shot for another friend, same concept, same technique, and they love it. And then the phone calls coming in.
One after the other.
Yes, and all of a sudden I become a wedding photographer.
It just happened just like
It's
that.
portfolio. Basically, it's portfolio is important.
The more you do, the better you get, you know, at what you want to chase in life. But Patrick, could you just tell us how different it was when you went from doing these catalogs and your aerial shots, and then you go into wedding photography? How different is it with each step of the way?
Yeah, when you do product shot, you don't need to talk to the product. When you do wedding, and they are not models, you really need to talk to them, make them feel comfortable, relax, and slowly. Don't use a word called I pose you. They don't like. Say, why not I do a little bit of direction and make sure it looks great. They should say yes, please do that. You know, so slowly communicate with them and make them feel like, you know, have fun together. Then they don't feel like it's posing or you know.
And what's the most fun wedding shoot that you've actually done?
I enjoy every shoot actually. Some clients will understand when I'm there, they can hear my voice everywhere.
No, but you always give instructions, because, I mean, you lead them in the right way, I mean, then they naturally follow the flow, correct? Is that your definition of a good photographer, or how would you describe it?
A good photographer should be understand what your clients need. You know, that's most important. Your client's behavior. You can't shoot something that I'm like that. I'm like that. I don't care. But you must understand. If you ask me what is the most important shot in a wedding picture, to me, it's a family photo.
A family photo is very important.
Yes.
Extremely important, trust me.
And if you found yourself in a situation where maybe the client was heading towards something you would consider a bad photograph, would you discourage them from actually posing in that way? Or would you let them go on?
I don't really have this experience, but I have one time really bad experience. It's after shooting the whole wedding, I need to travel. Then my staff will do the editing. And they didn't do the homework. They delivered everything to the client.
Oh dear, okay.
Including one of my intern that just learned photography for a week. I received a message, Patrick, are you sure you delivered this kind of photograph to me? Then I called my staff, said, what happened? Oh, I give them everything. I'm like,
because I mean, in photography, you have selected pictures, the best ones. You sit down, you touch up. Is that also goes to show that you need to know the business before you become an established photographer?
Good question. Photographer is a job. Photography studio is a business, right? The best chef doesn't mean they can run the best restaurant.
Very true.
So you must understand how to run a business. If you are not good in that area, get someone who can do it. That's all. Because we are not multi-talented. You know, we're just good in taking pictures, and that's all.
You know, speaking about that, Patrick, there's so many different photographers in Malaysia. How do you really stand out from the crowd?
Okay, to be different, right? Believe what you do.
Does it also belong to your style as well? Does your style of photography separate you from your competitors?
Style won't come overnight, won't develop overnight. You got to learn from everywhere. Keep learning. You know,
and how do you describe your style?
Conceptual, because I come from advertising base, so we always have this pre-preparation, understand your clients, what they need, where to shoot, what to do, what to wear, wardrobe, everything. And during the day, we call it execution. That's a photography session. The last part will be post-processing. That's where your style comes in. You process it into your style. I mean, basic camera is just a tool to capture lights. I mean, what can you do with style unless you can control the lights? I have a very good example that I learned from the past. During the school days, my kindergarten teacher taught me how to draw a circle, a ball. It's like that. But my art teacher taught me to shading with highlight and shadow and make it look 3D. So as a professional photographer, like camera is a tool to capture lights. Lighting is about shaping. You need to shape a subject looks like 3D. Or else it's just because of flat lighting, direct flash or whatever, right? So that's important.
And you know, something which you walked into the studio and you showed me before we sat in here was your name card. It's augmented reality, it's 3D. I mean, you just mentioned the word. I mean, it's amazing. How did that idea come about? Because I've never seen anything like that before on a name card. Patrick, you have to share that story with us.
It started with my charity project last year. I have a charity that we print a big poster. Then I asked myself how to make the photo speak. The person speak from the photograph. Google, do a lot of research, and I managed to find this company who can do this. So I have a story about this as well. It's about the technology. From an old film days photographer, we don't believe in Photoshop. Okay, right? No. So when the more you say no, it's actually you are trying to block technology and whatever new info coming in. So you will never improve yourself. So I told myself 2 years ago, okay, let's give it a try, just a try to accept Photoshop and enhance my photograph. Doesn't mean I have to add in a dinosaurs or change or remove a tree, but why not make it to 3D with Photoshop? Then what happened is, with the first experiment, fail, second fail, third time, okay, something looks good, and I submit for a grading. What I gained is actually Master Photographer Association UK. They certified me as first in the world certified 3D master.
Wow!
And they feature me in UK magazine cover page plus 6 insert.
Wow, that's quite an achievement.
So that's how your card works right now. I mean, we're watching it. I mean, That is amazing because it's a still picture, as you can see with the hand on the, in the background. Yet you can see all these things. So these are your clients as well, I believe?
Yes. Can you imagine? This is just a cut. What if you wear a 3D glasses and I print it life size in front of you?
Wow.
Yeah. That is
like
amazing.
It's amazing what technology can do, but in what other ways has technology really shaped the evolution of your photography style?
I try to do something different, be different. I do a lot of research, and I found out there's this camera, this software, hardware, and it can enhance my. Another technique is called light painting. It's like drawing lights.
Yeah.
And what happened is I can perform on stage with a magician, live on stage, and a photographer perform on stage. And
how did that idea come about? I mean, that is amazing.
you know what? My premiere show is sharing stage together with Robert Kiyosaki with 2,500 guests.
Wow.
And it's a dream. I mean, it's a dream to
Yeah.
me. But nothing is impossible.
And what was that moment like when you were there sharing the stage with him? I mean, what was going through your mind?
Yes.
You've done it, you've reached, you've hit the goal.
I have a lot of failure, to be very frank. I have a lot of failure, but failure is just a lesson.
And what were the lessons learned during your career? Because you've been doing this for quite some time. What were the best lessons you learned from your failures?
Photographer don't know how to make money.
That's true.
Artists, they don't know how to make money. I can tell you, they start from hobby, and they learn, they keep learning, they keep improving themselves, and job satisfaction, delivery, the client say yes, like they like it so much. When they start a studio, they don't know how to manage. They have overheads, they have rental, they have staff, and they start to have problem coming in. They suffer, no jobs, less jobs, and they quit from the industry.
Yeah, of course, this is the downside of it all, but there are people out there, who persevere and stick it through because it is their passion. Do you have any tips for anyone just starting out, or maybe home photographers, on how to capture a really great photo? Maybe your top 3 tips.
I think the first thing, fundamental, is the most important thing. And there's no shortcut. I realize a lot of photographers, they go for shortcut. When they start to pick up a camera, they try to ignore whatever problem.
Yeah.
They use digital to enhance their work. But when they shoot, they don't care.
Yeah.
So that's one of the major problems. Number 2, they, especially for wedding photographer, it's so easy to be a wedding photographer. Just buy an SLR camera and learn from few weddings, and you can so-call yourself a wedding photographer. But the problem is, let's put it in another situation. You visit a doctor, and the doctor is only 2 years experience. I talk to you, no problem. I will try to. I will try my best. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Hey, imagine this is your job, your profession. You should have confidence what you should do before you charge your client.
That's true.
That's actually a very, very good point. I mean, Patrick, I've mentioned this several times on the show. I mean, you're one of the mainstays in the industry. Where do you see photography going here in Malaysia and, the world itself? Where are we heading?
Yeah. I just came back from Jakarta for a trade mission with my group called Branding Association Malaysia. What I learned from this trade mission is Malaysia population is so small. If you focus in Kuala Lumpur, how far can you grow?
Yeah.
I mean, art, if people can accept you, why can't other country? So you got to think, brand yourself globally. So at least they can spot you, and they might give you a job.
Yeah.
Because Malaysia is so small.
So it's to kind of expand your mindset.
Yes,
basically.
expand your network.
Oh, Patrick.
So branding is important.
Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing your stories with us. It's been an eye-opener,
Yes.
and
Thank
I
you
will
very
be
much.
definitely giving you a call. If at all any of our friends need some photos taken at their wedding, especially when Shareeta gets married. Am I invited for your wedding, by the way? If it
Okay,
happens, say yes.
let's not talk about that right now. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll be back in the studio with our second guest, so stay tuned for that.
Thanks for staying with us. That's Shareeta, and I'm Roshan, and our next guest, picture in mind, filmmakers are artists in their own right. Today, we are sitting down with a filmmaker who truly speaks through his art based on real-life situations and scenarios. Jason Lim aims to create change through his films and evoke thoughts and civic consciousness. He is here with us today to tell us how he has got started in creating films with a message. But first, we're going to have a look at his work titled Greed.
Sometimes you're being watched by angels. And when you think your good deeds are left unnoticed, think again and watch closely. It's not about religion, and neither about your skin color. It's your actions that define who you are. It's your actions that speaks louder than words.
That's amazing.
That was a very moving piece
Yeah,
of work. Now, next in the studio, we have the creator behind this, Jason Lim, and we're going to speak about this video a little bit later. But first, can we find out how exactly did you make your way into filmmaking and making PSAs?
I got started in making PSAs. Most of the time, whatever got me started has to be something that actually affects me personally. It either has hit me real hard or something that has affected me personally. That's how I got started. My very first film I did was about Down syndrome. That's my very first film, and that's how I got started. Initially, when I got started in this industry, I was completely lost and completely unaware of what I could film and what I could do. You know, everyone could pick up a camera and call themselves a cameraman, or anyone can call themselves a director, whatever. But the thing about making films is I want to use films to evoke people into thinking how they can be a better person, or how they could transform society into a better thing, into a better society. The first film I did was, it's called I'm Not Stupid.
Yeah.
That film actually got me started without me even knowing what I was actually doing. And that time I was not even a director yet.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually saving up for a honeymoon to Japan. I was saving up all the money I had, and that's why I was eating in a fast food chain. And every time I go there, order the exact same meal because it's only $4.95. Comes with a fizzy drink and comes with a meal, chicken and lot of gravy. I was like, please tamba gravy. You can't add more chicken, could he? Just add more gravy so I could feel more full in the end. So I was actually traveling to Japan on Wednesday, and on Monday I was like, all right, let's have my final meal before I go to Japan and have my honeymoon over there. So the thing is, when I went to the fast food chain, this girl, she was new. She had symptoms of Down syndrome, and she was partially blind. And I just said, please, can I have the meal, please? So she turned around and she was, whoa. So she was literally stuttering. And of course, she's a handicap and she was disabled physically. So her colleague turned around at her and started cursing at her and said, oh my goodness, why did the company even hire you? Why did the company hire such you? Why? And she was being just thrown vulgar words at her. And for me, at that moment, at that time, as a typical Malaysian, what I did was phenomenal. I just crossed my arms and said, oh, just hurry up. I'm just hungry, I just want my food. I don't care who you are, what you are. Just give me the food. I didn't care. I did not care. So when I got the food, I went back to my table and I took the first bite. Then the second bite. Upon the second bite, I literally chewed the spoon across the table. And I asked myself one simple question. I actually asked myself out loud. I said, Jason, what did my silence even condone to? What did the silence tell this girl? I mean, she's like that already, and she's disabled, and she's blind, and she chooses to work in the front lines, facing us typical Malaysians, and we don't even care. We don't even care.
I think that's the most important thing, isn't it, Jason? You said we don't care. When we speak about caring, I mean, she's tearing up. I can promise you, everybody in the control room and the producers are crying after watching the video we just showed. I mean, what inspired you in terms of the movies and the films you've seen or maybe worked at? I mean, what hit your note in terms of, like, if you watched something in the past that, like, I need to do something like that?
The thing that made me want to do something was, after the experience, when I didn't do anything, I said, I made a silly mistake of not doing anything for that poor girl. I'm not going to repeat the same silly mistake of not doing anything about it. So what I did was I took up my phone. I simply took up my phone and I said that, what the heck? I'm just going to call 5 random people. I scrolled my phone, stop, call. Scrolled the phone, stop. 5 people in random. The first one was a butcher. I called a butcher. The second one was an insurance agent, which was trying to avoid all my life. And the third one was a pastor from a church. The third one was a school dropout. And the last one was, I don't even know the person's name. It was just a random number, which I failed. I said, all right, guys, this is Jason. Hi, how are you? I'm making a film, and I told them I'm going to reenact the whole situation about there's a Down syndrome individual, and there's going to be customers, there's going to be ignorant people, and we're going to document it, you see? So they said, Jason, I mean, number 1, you don't even have a script. Number 2, you don't even have the equipment. Number 3, you're flying off. You just told us you're flying off to Japan in 24 hours time. What are you going to do? So I said, all right, I just said, okay, if I get everything done, are we on? Yeah. He's like, I think we're on. They expect me not to do anything. So I withdraw all my honeymoon savings to Japan. And I went to buy film equipment, which I, at that time, did not know I could rent. I bought everything. And
is it fair to say, Jason, that this would have been your first actual piece of work that you put together, and it was about the situation at
Down
KFC?
syndrome. Exactly. I bought everything besides the camera.
And how did your wife feel about this?
Sorry?
How did your wife feel about this?
She didn't know anything about when I bought the equipment and blasted all the money
out. The honeymoon was off.
I bought my equipment and I put it in a different room. I said, no, that room is really messy. Don't go in that room. And actually, that room was with rigs, cameras, sliders, dollies, everything. I bought everything that I did not need. Which I did not know what it was. And that's how I got started the very next day. And once I got started,
I left to Japan, and once I came back, it was all over the media, and it reached 17 million views after that.
And fast forward a little bit now, we've taken a look at Greed.
Yes.
And that was also, had a very huge impact on, Malaysians.
Everybody.
Yes. Can you tell us a little bit about that? Was that really how it all went down? Is what we see on...
Yes.
On the
what
film?
you see is the truth of what Malaysians are. Some people can't take the truth. Some people can't handle the truth. I mean, for those people, you just gotta live with it. That's the truth. So the thing about Greed is, why people resonate in that thing is because everyone bites the bullet in Greed.
Yeah.
Everyone is guilty at one point in life. If you see money, who's not gonna pick up the money? Anyone will. I would. You would. Anyone would. But I would like to see whether if you see someone drop the money and it's in front of you and it's in your powers to return the money back to the one that you saw, what would Malaysians do?
Yeah.
And
it's quite a hard pill for me to even swallow, to see that many people actually
who
not
just took,
give,
and there was one guy who ran away with the shirt, what would you do now? I mean, that was the highlight and the moment where I was like, oh my God. But going back to the topics itself, in terms of how you select for your pieces, there was Greed.
Yes.
How do you go about selecting them?
Selecting the PSAs or the films or the productions that I do, it has to affect me in some certain way.
Yeah.
I can't just think about it and say, all right, let's do that. No, I can't do that, because it has to affect me in some certain way. Especially, let's say, when you talk about the blind, you talk about the Down syndrome, I have to experience it firsthand. I need to, like, let's say for a blind movie, Are You Blind? I literally blindfolded myself for literally 5 days. And I could tell you it sucks.
Yeah.
To have no visual, to have no vision, and it kind of feels very insecure. And after that, I said, all right, let's make this film about blindness and how Malaysians take something like this, and does the society even care about this sort of issues?
Yeah. So Jason, it seems like you very deeply immersed yourself in each of these projects that you kind of create.
Yes.
But how did the making of Greed really impact you personally? The whole filming of it, how did it really affect you?
Initially, my main goal was just to see people picking up money and returning it, or people picking it up and running away. And but I did not expect to see so much expression on their faces. I mean, all their faces were blurred out, the ones that actually stole the money, which unfortunately no one else could see at this moment. So the thing about the expression tells a million words. I mean, it's the people who have the least who actually tend to give more, such as the beggar. The beggar, and which is the homeless man, which is now proud to say he's my friend now. And the thing about it is, I expect him to take the money and run off.
There he is right there.
I expect him to take the money and run off.
Did they know they were being filmed? I mean,
No.
did you approach anyone else once they were, done shooting? Did you go up to them and say you were recorded?
Yeah, I tried to take back my money when they stole my money.
So they knew in the end. They knew
Those were the people that I would try to approach. Because
What was your reaction to you when you said, "Oh, we just got you taking money"? I mean,
they were, especially the first man the first man that in the film that actually left off. I mean, his body was filled with tattoos, and he was holding a packet of rice, and he took the money and he just took off, and we were chasing him. And we said, "Excuse me, sir, did you see the money?" He's like, "Money? What money? No money." And he just put the money right in his pocket, and he just took off. And those people were just, they knew that even if they ran half a football field away from where we are filming, we could still film the face really, really clearly. So they know that the longer they stay there, the more footage I'm going to grab of him. Because the moment when we went up to the thief, there were 3 cameras right in front of their faces. We're holding like 300
so there
mm
was
lenses.
really no escaping. But Jason, I'm just really curious to find out, statistically, was it really that many more people who took the money than the people who chose to give it back?
Fortunately, which is it's an interesting thing, there were more people that gave the money back.
Okay, that's what I was hoping for, to try and believe in the good.
I was expecting that there was going to be more people running away with the money, but when we finished watching the whole playback and all the films that we did, there were actually much more. I mean, statistically, there were 60 to 70% that decided to return the money.
That's a relief for me to hear about our
But
society.
moving forward, I mean, why is it so important to make things like Greed with a message? Why is it so important for you as well?
I make the message in a very serious manner because Malaysians don't take things too seriously in many aspects. I mean, they take everything as a joke, and they take everything not with. They should take everything with a pinch of salt, whatever they see in the media or whatever. But for me to come up with a film, and for me and my production crew to come up with such a film about greed, especially, it's such a sensitive topic. I think it's able, I would see it able to actually evoke people into thinking, next time if they see someone drop money on the floor, they're like, heck no, I'm not picking up that money. Even if that money drops, even though I had a friend, he came up to me and said, Jason, that day I dropped $50 on the floor. It's my money, but I was hesitating to pick it back up.
Wow.
I'm not sure if that money,
Yeah, you're going to be judged.
Yeah, I'm going to be judged. I'm not sure. So there are a lot of people and friends and that comes up to me and say, Jason, thank you so much, because now if I see people drop money, it's either I'm going to pick it back up and return it back to him, or I'm just not going to do anything about it. So
you have caused quite a big change. And
Fortunately,
we're really looking forward to
see
a lot more from you. What can we actually expect from you in 2016? What's in the pipelines?
In 2016, there's going to be more films that actually evoke people into thinking about how the society can be much better in a positive way. Because films like Greed, there's going to affect a lot of people two different ways. There's going to be people that loves the film, people that hate the film. Such as the film Greed is a positive one, but some people, they take it negatively and say, Jason, you should return the money to the beggar. You should give him money. Why didn't you? You're such a bad person. I mean, come on. The film isn't about the money. No, the film isn't about the beggar. The film is solely about Malaysians and about greed. It's about how greedy people can become. The film has nothing to do with the beggar. Going back to the beggar, giving him hundreds and hundreds of dollars would be off camera. Putting it on camera and showing how much money I give to the beggar doesn't make me a better person.
Kind of distorting the message.
It's distorting the message. It doesn't give me bragging rights. It doesn't give me the rights to brag and show off how much money and value I give to the beggar. It's a sense of satisfaction. I helped this homeless man. Now he's my friend. Amazing. End of story.
It's about getting a message across.
It's my getting a message across.
And on that note, what is a message you would love to share with the people of Malaysia right now?
I would share a message to Malaysia. If you're not willing to light a candle in the dark, then don't complain about the darkness.
That's deep, my friend.
Wow.
More importantly, did you take your wife on a honeymoon after the whole...
Yes, I actually went to Japan after that. And I told her that I like to eat don. It's like rice and egg, and it's really cheap. And she asked me, why do you like to eat this so much? Technically, I was broke. But I said, I love this type of food. It's delicious. But I was technically broke after buying all the...
Wow.
But more importantly, you're doing a good thing, my friend. And you're really trying to spread a good message. And I thank you for that.
Yes,
and
thank you so much for your
Thank
time
you.
today.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, coming up next week on V-Buzz, Dr. Sharad Ratna will be back in our studio to talk about women's health, which is equally important.
And we also find out more about managing football as a business with the Program Director of University Malaya's Professional Certificate in Football Management.
Yes, keep writing to us. That's vbuzz@astro.com.my, your feedback, your suggestions. And if you would like to be a part of the show, you can do that as well.
You can also follow us on Instagram at vbuzz_HD and check out all our cool photos.
Yeah, I don't have any cool photos. I'm just going to be honest. I'm Roshan.
And I'm Shareeta. Have a great night.
Shareeta, you know how much I love football, right?
Yes, Roshan, I'm quite aware of how much of a fan you are of the beautiful game.
Which is why I am really excited to hear that on our next show, we'll have a football management expert to talk about the state of Malaysian football.
And we're also joined by Dr. Sharad Ratna, who continues his series on women's health.
So if I were you, I'd kick off your week with us right here on V-Buzz.